I'm Miss Sandra, Pastor Richard's wife. When Carrie Broadus had left the church, a lot of the responsibilities did fall on me, just because I was following her around, just learning everything from her. So I kind of know a lot more than a normal person does. So I just wanted to say, when the children do come in, and when parents get checked in, we recommend sanitizing children's homes, just in case. We don't know what they were doing before they came to church and whatever germs they could be carrying. We don't want our kids to think they're carrying germs, but just in case. And I do want to say that usually at Central Campus, we have the emergency, the backpacks, everything is right when you do the game. I don't know where it is. Oh, it's behind the door here.
I think in the 2 3s, it's actually in the cabinet,
Yes.
where you keep your lanyards.
Yes.
I have it. The 4 5 classroom is new to me. I actually don't know where it is in the
Well,
4
one's also behind the door.
There's one behind the door in that classroom. Okay, thank you. I was like, I haven't
So
actually.
John has it up here. This is the emergency backpack. These are all the acquisitions. Everything is all in there. When I first started with Mel, she was the one that went through everything. She had everything in order. We did evacuations. I think I want to say once a year. It took a while when I first started, but she told us that she was going to try to go for 2 times a year, just so that everyone can understand and be prepared with emergencies. Thank you so much. And then I do know at Central Campus, we stopped using the checklist. There is a checklist that Ms. Carmel had created, and Pastor Brandon was saying, hey, we need to get this back in just because it has everything that we need to go over. And then let's just say a classroom is missing gloves. None of us would know unless it's checked on that checklist and it is turned in after every service. And that is that checklist there.
Yes, that's the one you're talking about? Like the
correct.
cleaning checklist?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. So there's one of those in every room.
In every single room.
Just see just one.
Mm-hmm. And then also, as well as the incident reports, should also be near the checklist as well. Also, I know North Campus, their sign-in sheets are always outside in that little cubby out there or that drawer out there. At Central, everything is all together. We have all the sign-in sheets. We have all the, the injury list, incident list, and also the checklist. It's all in a cubby. It's all lined up perfectly in every single classroom. I do know at Central, we're trying to not use the 2 rooms. We've been using that as just like maybe an adult was to go see their children for, I want to say we did have an accident where children did get sick. We had let the parent into that room so they can take care of the child. I do recommend maybe having a spot here at North, say if something does happen like that. Bathrooms can work as well, but it does help if they just have that little security, no one's there. And then I had someone there with the parent explaining the situation. And then also the lead of that week. I don't know how North does it, but our lead is usually, it does change every week. We have a different lead person every week. And we always try to get that lead person at least to the pre-prayer service. And then that way they have everything they need to know and the knowledge. And that's what's going on that day. And then like I said, usually that's when the important information goes out is pre-service prayer. So we always recommend always try to make that pre-service prayer, especially if you are serving, because we do pray over every classroom and every kid that comes through the doors. And then let's see what else when we first start as well. I don't know how North Campus does it, but every time we start a new curriculum at Central Campus, we don't, not one single person puts up all of the new posters. We actually have all of the leads for the classrooms put up the posters, so it'll make it seem like, hey, you know what, they're doing something and it doesn't fall on one single person for all the curriculum. And I do know at Central Campus, I put out all of the new every weekly lesson. I put it out every Wednesday night because I'm there anyway, so I do put it to get ready for Sunday. But yeah, we're trying to like space it out so everyone has like a different specific role. So it's not just on one specific person as we had with Carrie. So we're trying to just, spread it out a little bit. That's why we have 4 leads now, or point persons, we would like to say. And then, so then when parents do come in, I do recommend just always making sure that they put the code, the little numbers and code and letters. I do recommend putting that in because it's really helpful at the end when we're doing checkout and there's no numbers on there. We're kind of just like, okay, what's going on? This kid is not in our system, but mom and dad wrote him down. And I do recommend if there's a family and they have 3 kids, please use a single line for each kid because it does mess with our numbers, especially when they put 3 kids on one line and we're looking at that chart for attendance and we're just like, okay, where's the other 2? And then we don't realize, oh, they put it all on one line. I do recommend it because a lot of families just do that. Or be like with Kirsten Christie, she writes with her name really big. It takes up 3 spaces for her 3 kids. So it helps that way as well. So then when the kids do come in, we sanitize. And then usually I know at Central Campus, we usually just like to talk to parents. If we always ask about allergies. Is it okay if we give out Cheerios? Is it okay if we give them water? Are they potty trained? Are they not potty trained? It's always good to know that. And I do recommend for 2s and 3s that we do not change diapers. I do agree with that because we don't have a changing tables in 2s and 3s. And they can always go to the bathroom, down the hall, or somewhere else, and they can always bring them back. As long as they have their tag, they should be fine to come back in. And then I do recommend that take a look at the parents' tags as well. There has been a problem where it was a different number from the child, and the parents had gotten angry and upset. We didn't know there was 2 different parents. They were doing, grandma had checked out another child, and grandpa or mom had checked out the other child, and the names did not match. And they were kind of upset with us, and we're just like, no, we needed to check. And it's okay if parents get mad that the tags do not match and they have to go through the process with security. I've done it with one of our children. We had lost the tag and we had to show our ID. We had to go through the whole security. But I felt pretty, confident and protected. Like, you know what? They care. They care about the kids and they care about, okay, they're going with the right person that took them to church. We did have an accident, I think a few years ago, where one of the kids ran out and went outside. Security did stop the child, and then everything from there was security took over and checking out procedures, which was amazing because they stopped everything that happened then and there. Is there anything else I'm missing for check-in?
So if the parents lose their tag and you got the child, what happens?
We do go through security. So security in the front. So at Central Campus, there's a security guard in the front. He has everything for that procedure. He asks for the parent's ID, and then is there anything else?
Yeah, we're gonna check the ID and then we're gonna check to make sure we'll go into the check-in system
Oh, yes.
and just double check that. They had a tag at some point, it's lost.
So,
And most,
We don't give them 2 hours.
oh no,
Yeah.
Because we know almost everything.
yeah.
And so we don't make it.
if you can reprint the tag from security.
I think, yeah, also, possibly, I don't know if you do, but then you could always ask Susie, is this dad? Is this mom? Is this boyfriend? And if they recoil, he goes, thumbs up. If they don't, they go, oh yeah, that's.
But they could say it's daddy and daddy had night before got a restraining order against.
Oh.
I used to do foster care, and my children that came into nurseries were at very high risk of being abducted. And if you walked in and said, "Oh, is this your daddy?" "Oh, yeah, that's my daddy. Oh, I'm going with him." It would be dangerous.
Yeah.
So you can't go by that at all.
But that's why we have security. I had to at one church hit a panic button because I had a child stolen from me. And so that's why we have security.
So in that situation, because there's supposed to be 2 in the classroom, how do we contact you or just send the parent to security? I mean, so, because we can't really necessarily always walk them down.
So Central Campus has been a little lenient. So every group is supposed to have a walkie-talkie, and that walkie-talkie gets directly to their leader. And then the leader has 2 walkie-talkies. One walkie-talkie is connected to all the rooms, but the other walkie-talkies and the other one is connected to security.
Okay.
And We have been a little lenient on it, so it hasn't been in Central Campus's rooms yet, but we will get those back up there. Because we do have them charging in one of our resource rooms. We have one for 2s and 3s. We have one for 4th and 5. Every single room has one.
Okay,
And then that's how we can communicate through that, make sure we're on the same channel.
okay, so the lead would actually call security, so we have a parent tag,
Correct.
and you please come assist us. Okay. Cause I'm like, it's, you're supposed to have two.
But usually security would not let them back on the station route time. So they would have been stuck already at the front door.
Just in case.
Yes, yeah, perfect.
What's the minimum age to pick up?
Oh, minimum age to pick up a kid is 16. Always 16. If you have someone coming later, they will have to go back and get an adult, and then the adult could come with that tag to pick up the child. Any other questions?
I have seen that they, sometimes in between the switching of classes, they would leave that front door open. And there would be people just flowing through without being stopped and noticed that, hey, are you coming back for a kid or not? There would just be people just flowing through it, and some of the kids would just be going out. So I think we need to make sure that we always keep that door closed.
That is correct, and it is supposed to be closed, and security guard is supposed to be there all the time. I do know Jim is really great with it. Also, Kimani is really great with it as well. And Connor, he's done it a few times, but they have been really great with it because I go in and out doing numbers, checking every room, and they're always there when they're on. Yeah, so I'm not sure when that has happened. It could have been during a.
Well, when we were doing the 2 services,
Oh,
it was
got it.
when
Yes.
the parents would come through
Mhm.
at like 9 o'clock. They would be bringing in the 10 o'clock kids, and I would see nobody would stop them and say, "Hey, we can't go in yet." They would just be flowing through with everybody else.
I did see that in things such as well. I can talk to the security some more or talk to Dr. Brandon about locating that case stays closed all the time unless they have a tag on security list. Yes.
They won't even let me in unless it's my week to work service, so they've been really good about it.
And then I have a card, so I can always get in and out, and speak to Jim if I need to, or any other security guard there, just because I'm one of the main leads and I'm there all the time, so I do have a card. And we'll go ahead and let Pastor Brandon know about that situation. But since we have one service, it should be pretty good now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but that was always concerning to me is when you're standing there at the desk waiting for the parents coming in, and you have 5 or 6 people going down to the 4 or 5-year-olds with children that we're not even ready for coming through, and how are you gonna catch them all?
Yeah, that's why at Central, once it hits time for kids to go back, which is usually 15 minutes before service, all of the security people at Central Campus knows that the lead has to give them a thumbs up. That's the only way that they can send in kids.
Okay.
If Jim, Connor, or anyone else does not see the thumbs up for any of our leads, they would not send kids back. They will call and say, hey, what's going on? And then we'll just say, hey, we're still waiting on a few more teachers. But they do not send kids back until we give that thumbs up. I'm not sure what happened. Yes.
Well, and that's again, so we do our best. When we had 2 services, everybody was in this room.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd have people coming in, people coming out. This door right here is all that separated kids from this.
Running out there.
Running out, right?
Yeah.
So checking tags and right here, but we do our best. I do my best to keep anybody that doesn't have a tag back in the building right now. But people still get like 50 people checking tags. Right here, this is where it matters the most before that kid comes across.
For Central Campus, the 2 doors that we use to evacuate, should we make sure that parents aren't leaving after picking up their kids through those doors?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Very central?
Yeah, so
I'm not familiar enough with central to
So central, it's blocked off. You need to use your key card or anything to get into the back area.
Yes.
But the emergency evacuation, there's 2 sets of double doors.
Yep.
So, and we use that for emergency exits.
Nobody should be going back there. Everybody should be coming out that main door. And we don't let people use this side door either, during service. Everybody comes in and out through there. It's just too hard to watch both doors. So we ask everybody to come in, get your kids, go back out, go out the main doors instead of just. I would not let them use those back doors. I would have everybody come in, the main door, back out.
So we'll go ahead and get that off now.
Did you want to show everybody this?
I don't even think.
I was like, if you're.
I know, I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's right. But,
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that too. I need a volunteer. Thank you, Amanda.
Yes.
So we're gonna lock down the hall. It'll be lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. That's all you're gonna hear. So the first thing you're gonna do is get your helpers, open up the bathroom door, get all the kids towards bathroom door.
And I don't know,
Those are great.
nursery is the only one here that has this. This goes over the window, it's magnetic. I have no idea if Central has these or not.
Central does.
You're my volunteer, thank you.
So
As the
this,
adult, you're gonna come over here, shut the door. You can lock it.
the window.
We are gonna tint these as well with that glass, the mirror.
My normal protocol on a Sunday is 30 minutes after I lock this door.
Yes,
Like,
correct.
I was kidding. That's a number one thing I always do on Sunday.
So these door stops are extremely easy to use. They only work for a door that kicks in, right? So, if it's pulling out, like, it's not gonna work. It only works for somebody on the outside to not be able to push this door into this direction. There's just a screw that goes down into the ground. So if you try to put it in like that, it's not gonna work. It should be staged and ready to use in the drawer where that's flush, just like that. And then whoever the lead is, right underneath the door handle is where it's gotta go. If you put it all the way over by the hinges, it's not gonna work correctly. Give it a kick. Screw it down.
Do I want to screw it all
Yep. When it gets tight, I wouldn't be able to get through that door right now if I tried. So, put it in the ground, tighten it down. That's good. And you can see that door is not. It's not gonna open. You wouldn't be able to open it up. So those are in every classroom with doors that open inward. If the doors open outwards, can't use it. Okay.
That's when they're
Yeah. Yep. Any questions on how these are used? If you're in these classrooms, you should know which drawer they're in and how to use them.
Do you label the drawers for they know?
When we train people, we show them where it's at.
Yeah.
I don't think it's got a. Where'd you get those doors up? You got some on Amazon, right?
Oh, magnets. Weren't we supposed to?
The magnet window blocker outers. Blackouts.
I think someone made it.
That one looks kind of homemade. I considered making one.
They make them where they
I
roll
may-
up on
I may
some
make
door right here.
I know they're a pain in the
You
butt.
can, and they're just magnetic. They roll up and then you just come over, pull them down, and it'll just break over the windows. So it's something that we can look at, make it easier. Take a look at that.
Are we putting film over the windows though, you said? Yes. One way.
Thank you, Danny, for explaining that, because I haven't seen that, and I've been serving for almost 8 years. Alrighty, and then so when service starts and we do the sanitizing of the hands, so playtime is about 30 minutes into service. And then I say after that, that's when we lock the doors, and then that's when we start our lesson, right? For 4s and 5s, usually after the 30-minute mark, when we lock that door, before we So 15 minutes into the service, I want to say that's when we usually do bathroom breaks, correct? And again, with Pastor Brandon saying that we do have to kind of reinforce that and say, you know what, if you can't go, just try and go. And then if that doesn't work, I did recommend saying maybe making all of the kids line up and then just saying, all right, we're all going to go to the bathroom. And once you're done, you can go ahead and play. Just so that they know, all right, everyone's going to the bathroom, not just them, and that they kind of do have to go. So then again, they're not interrupting lessons for, I want to say, water breaks, bathroom breaks as well. And then I'd say the 30-minute mark is when we close the doors, lock them up, and we grab the attendance sheet as well to make sure that everyone is still in the room. I know 4s and 5s, you guys do attendance when you're sitting down and doing rules and consequences. I do recommend trying to do rules and consequences as soon as they sit down, just so they know that. And what Pastor Banner was talking about is we're trying to start a chart where, let's say, they're on their green when they start, so that's usually when they're doing okay. But we wanted to have one where they're accountability, right? So we're gonna put their names on pins, and it's just a chart for green as if they're doing good, yellows for warning, orange is for timeout, and then red is bye bye. We're gonna call the person who brought you to church. We really wanted to implement that because we do have a lot of kids. I'm not sure about North Campus, but at Central Campus we do have a lot of kids who are on the spectrum, and it helps to know and they can see, okay, I'm on a warning. If I get in trouble one more time, I'm gonna get called. So it does help to see that visual. I do have a picture of it if you guys don't understand what I'm talking about.
They've done away with that in all your public schools because other parents then can see who the naughty child in the classroom is.
And we've made sure to take it down. It's really only for kids to see. And we put it on the other half of the classroom because we don't want to punish that child in front of their peers. But
Because you don't want a child going home going, oh, well, Sammy got a red. Sammy got a red. Like,
yeah,
you
we
know.
make sure it's very individual. And then because we don't want it to their peers to understand that's a problem child. And then
Right.
the parents come to us and they're like, I don't even want my child in this classroom because this so and so is affecting my child's behavior. So we do try to separate that because we understand we've seen it with a few of the parents now.
Mhm.
But for some, we've had kids be like, well, I was doing the right thing. And they're not even processing their misbehavior. So what we're doing is we're allowing them to walk away and take a few steps because they're walking to move their own pin and then they're moving it themselves. Just to add to that visualization.
Correct. It's been I have done it a couple of times because I do serve on Sundays and I do serve on Wednesdays. And it does help because again the kids on the spectrum like to see where they're at and then see, okay, I need to really focus and pay attention here. Or so I'm
That makes sense. I mean, if it's working for you, go for it.
Yes. And it does work. Pastor Brandon said he will try to make it more professional because we did it by hand. And then we're going to try to do maybe like what Pastor Brandon said, putting it as, okay, we're now at playtime. We're now doing our lesson. We're now coloring. We're now having step time. He would like to have something like that in every classroom, just so then that way we can say to kids, look, now we're going to go ahead and learn, do our Bible story, Bible lessons and all that stuff. And hopefully it helps the kids more because we want them to have that structure in every class because when they move up to a different classroom, it's something new, right? And you're trying to train them and say like, hey, when you're going to this classroom, they are going to start doing this now. They're not going to play time at the end. I don't know if some of you know, but as soon as you hit pre-K, they are not supposed to be playing any more toys at the end. So when lesson is complete, they are supposed to just watch the movie and have snack time. That way, that the leaders have time to clean up the classrooms so they're not stuck there after service is over and after parents have picked up the kids. I don't know if anybody know that. And then 2s and 3s, you're supposed to kind of implement that. They can play a little few toys, but keep it down to just a minimum of a few toys. That way our leaders and our volunteers are not just rushing at the end and not really doing that fully cleanup that they need to do.
So we could just do table toys at that time.
Right, yes. I do recommend that. I do remember Carmel and Miss Carrie saying that it was important that the kids started doing that in 2s and 3s. Just because 4s and 5s, they do that.
Miss Sandra, I find like really early twos, it's really hard to get them, to not play with the toys. And then like the older twos and threes, they're really good, they understand, but it's just like I don't know if anybody else has.
No, we have the same.
Yeah.
We have the same
Yeah.
challenges.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do recommend doing games at the end as well to maybe try to, distract them. I do know on Wednesday nights, some parents take a long time. We do red light, green light sometimes, and we make sure that they're walking, or we do other games as well that implements all of them so they're playing together.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Sure to talk about this. Sorry I came in.
Not yet.
Okay, good.
No.
Hold tight. You keep going.
Yeah. So I did go over a little bit about the sign-up sheets earlier and about if parents lose the tag, and then Danny helped with that as well. But yes, I did recommend that every child is on a single line, even though they have multiple kids per family. And then at the end, I know Central Campus is very good at it, but at the end of it, once parents come and you take off the sticker, take the stickers from parents, but if they need it for multiple kids, of course, let them keep it. Like take the sticker off the child, and then as soon as you do, mark them off with the highlighter. Please do this just because it lets us know, all right, who is gone and who is still left in our classroom. So because I know security always comes and say, are we clear? Then that way we can say, no, we still have 2 more. We still have 3 more, and etc.
And be sure to fill out the topic sheet. It already said fill that out. The name and stuff is all great, but the numbers are whatever those need to be filled out as well. So like check in. This isn't something new that will be new for you. That is different. North Campus check-in team has taken care of this up to this point, but starting this weekend, check-in is not going to fill this out for us anymore because it's been a challenge here a few different times at North, where the check-in's having to fill this all out, like the numbers and stuff up here. Whenever you at that 30-minute mark when check-in technically shuts down. So at the 30-minute mark of your classroom, when you're starting to transition, fill those numbers out because you shouldn't, unless it's an exception, you shouldn't get any more kids. So fill this out because check-in's only going to come around and collect the numbers from what you have as far as your count. So just be sure that you fill this out. It's on that weekly and daily checklist. As far as this is a part of our responsibility when it's the classroom lead. Just filling that out. So keep
Okay,
going.
Brandon, do you want to speak to teens and juniors? How do they mark them on there?
Yeah. So if they're serving in one of these classrooms, it's different for the elementary room. But if they're serving one of these classrooms, they need to be marked as a teen or a junior. So if they're in here and they're a 4th grade or a 5th grade kid, they need to be marked as a junior or a teen. If they were serving in elementary, we mark them as a kid because that's their specific class. That makes sense? That's good.
And then after that 30-minute mark, we will transition into rules, consequences, and then also we do offering as well. I do recommend, especially I know at Central Campus, a lot of our leaders for babies and for walkers are kind of lenient and kind of skipping over the lesson. So I do want to recommend and say that this is not childcare. This is us trying to show babies, like who Jesus is. And I can definitely say from my experience, it does help when we do it at such a young age while they're walking. Because they do learn about Jesus, and you can tell when they go into 2s and 3s, they know who Jesus is. They can say, that's Jesus, or they'll offer to, want to help with prayer. So I do want to say it does help, even though they're either babies or they're walkers. And it does help for that because it's ministry, not childcare. So we just want to give them that opportunity to learn it as well. Just because they're little doesn't mean they're not listening. They're always listening, and they can absorb it as well, like a sponge.
It's good here. Keep going.
Awesome. And then after that, we're going to do praise and worshiping is very important as well. I do know at Central Walkers as well, they're not getting it as much. So we're trying to put that back in and, tell our leaders, why are you here? Right? Why are you here? Why are you here for the kids? We're here for the kids. We want them to have that relationship with the Lord, for them to understand why is mom and dad at, in service, and why am I in here? But they're kind of learning the same things as well, just down to kids level. And it'll help to know, like, hey, mom and dad's learning about Jesus, I'm learning about Jesus as well. So again, if we see a leader just, slowly just going away from that, you can always ask and say, what's your purpose here with the kids? Is it for them to just, so they can just play with their toys? Or is it just so they can learn about Jesus and learn that lesson that we have for them about Jesus as well? And then I want to say, after we do the lesson, we do coloring as well. And fours and fives, myself and McKenna, we have been trying to do at least an activity related to that lesson for that week, just so the kids can have a little hands-on experience and type a little project so they can learn more about Jesus as well. If there's any other ideas for like crafts or anything, please let us know. We would love to add them into our curriculum as well. The new curriculum, I'm not so sure about. I just know about the old curriculum that Ms. Carmel came up.
Yeah, that's great. I don't want to start talking until you're done, because once I get going, I'm pretty passionate about what happens.
Yeah.
You good?
And then
Yeah, keep
I
going.
think we are pretty good. Yeah. So then after the lesson, we do the coloring, we do snack time. I don't know about North Campus, but Central Campus, we do have some kids on the spectrum. So there are different things that we use to try to get them to stay still. What I've realized that helps with fours and fives for me on Wednesday night is the kids love sitting in chairs. So instead of letting them sit on the floor, we do the chairs, and we turn off the lights in the back where the TV's at. And they love that. And they would just relax and they would stay calm for a while. But again, if they do get rowdy and they don't want to watch the movie, I do do that recommendation of playing games with the whole classroom. Red light, green light is a good one. Or maybe you can even just have them sit down and we can just talk what's going on. And then for incidents and reports, it is very important we do get those filled out and signed when parents come in. And then I do recommend maybe try to do it separate for the parents of the children that were in.
Can you?
And- go ahead.
Sorry, to the
Go ahead.
report thingy.
Yes.
Carmel would always say, if you have to have a parent send a report, you have to sandwich it. Say something good about the kid.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Very good.
Mhm, correct.
Yes, Michael.
Can you talk a little more about prayer time after the story and the whole say yes to Jesus?
Oh, yes. So the response time or the little stickers that we do, I know fours and fives at Central Campus, they do, here, they do have the kids grab a sticker and then they go around and spread out and they just pray for a little bit. And we put on like a little slow worship song, and they would pray about it. And then when they're ready, they will go up to a leader that's in front of that response poster board. And then we would always ask, is there something you want to pray about? Do you want to lead the prayer or do you want help? And they'll pray about it. And then when they're done, we'll put the tape on it. And then we'll tell them to say yes to Jesus. Twos and threes, lately I've just been saying, do you say yes to Jesus? Because they don't really understand. But then we do ask if you wanted to have a little prayer, and they'll say yes to the prayer. Sometimes they'll say, no, it's okay, I just want to color. And then at the end, I don't know if anyone does this at North Campus, but at the end, I do take off the stickers from the response
Yes.
and I put it on their coloring. So that way they have something to talk about with their parents. Like, hey, mom, I put this up and I prayed about so and so. And then parents can know what's going on as well. Just so that way we're not just throwing this away, because Miss Sheila says all the time, how do you know? They can go home with it and it'll reference their coloring sheet as well. Over there. Thank you. And then again with checkout, just please be very vigilant with checking out the numbers, making sure they match and they passing it up. And then of course clean up as well. Yeah. Yes.
That's good. One of the things that I wanted to mention, I don't want to take all y'all's taking too much more time. Years ago, when I stepped into doing early child, the first time I ever had it get thrown in, a classroom. I say thrown in. It was just like I wasn't scheduled to be in an early childhood classroom. I had not prepped. I had, again, it's not where we want to be, but I had not prepped or anything like that. This right here, for somebody who had not been in one of these classrooms years ago, was the best thing because I knew exactly what I needed to do. And this was being put in a classroom at another campus that I wasn't regularly at. So why do we have this? Well, first of all, it helps people who don't necessarily, man, I'm not good with speaking or I don't know exactly what to say. It helps you have it. The other part of this is one of the other intentionalities behind this, for those that don't know, is if my Nora was in early childhood and she attended North Campus on Sundays and we went over to Central Campus, she wasn't going to get a different flow and method and way of how we go in the classroom. So if you think this is not intentional, it is. There's very good reasons behind every single one of these areas, and it's important that you follow it. Now I know I've been in these classrooms, and there are many days where it doesn't go that way. But the intentionality and the why behind flowing this way is we're not going to just go off willy-nilly, as I call it, on our own, doing our own thing and going on our own way. Flow with this to the best of your capability. I always say in elementary, there's non-negotiables for me. There's the Bible story, there's worship, and there's the response time. Those three things, I'm going to stick pretty close to how we want to do those. And the way that the method and the way that you communicate and articulate that out may be different because of your personality, may be different because of your dynamic in that classroom. But stick to this because I want kids to be able to go from North Campus to Central Campus and they get the same teaching, the same experience. And it's the same reason why in June, when we make this shift to do the same curriculum that the elementary is learning, we're all going to be learning the same curriculum. That's one of those reasons why. That's the intentionality behind it. The other part of this is why this manual and training was really important today is I just told the check-in team this, why it's important for you to do things by this is because if I have absolutely zero nursery teachers and I call Miss Sandra, hey, can you get me a nursery teacher because I can't do it. I'm sick as a dog and every single nursery teacher is out. I would like for you in early childhood at Central Campus to be able to come over here and same vice versa to be able to go over there. So if we have any discrepancies that we're doing something different, doesn't mean that you can't have a specific thing that's good for that classroom. But the bottom line is the basics of what we do has to be the same across our campuses. Does that make sense? That can seem very strict. And Pastor Brady, you don't know how I do it in the babies class over at Central Campus or vice versa here. Again, there's things that can be specific to your classrooms, but like these are the things that we need to try to flow and follow by. Yes, Miss Ellie.
That's really good. What is that called and where can we find it usually?
So before recently, this stuff was not accessible. Now, over the last 18 months, you get this in the parent email and the team gets it before we start a new series. And it's also in the classroom. So right now it's available through an email that goes out to everybody who serves on the early childhood team, which you just got added to, so you may not have seen this, but you should have seen it as a parent because it goes out to a parent. So for those that don't know, does everybody know that I film a video before every series and it goes out? So in that email is a link that says parent resource, or if you're on the team, it has this. All of these are in there in the outline. It has every single week, and it has the paper that's over there above the sink. It has them broken down by the weeks. And it even tells you on here what songs to do, what songs to play on what DJ. And it even gives you talking points. So that's the big thing I wanted to mention with this. Just remember with the checklist, Pastor Brandon or Miss Sandra or Pastor Richard, we don't know if you're running low on supplies if you don't put it on that weekly paper that you're supposed to fill out. Because we're with us being 2 campuses, that's why that process is in place. It helps us to know what we need. For a long time, until probably a month ago, we didn't have any place to put supplies here at North. So we had to get our stuff from Central Campus. Now I have a closet, praise the Lord, where I can put some stuff here at North Campus. But Central Campus has it all there. So it's a little bit of a more of a convenience. But all of that to say, that's why that checklist is in place, because it helps us know down at the bottom, director's comments. You can put out of diapers, out of Cheerios, whatever, need baby wipes, need gloves. That way we can make sure it's in the classroom. Because the last thing I want, even myself, when I'm in these classrooms, because I'm still in these classrooms a lot, is to go over here and not have gloves or a diaper, even though I may not change it. Just we want supplies to be in there, and I don't want y'all to have to. That's frustrating. It can be frustrating to not have what you need, and I don't want that to ever happen. So just help us by filling that stuff out. Any other questions for me, or thoughts on any of this stuff when it comes to the early childhood?
I have a question, just in general. What is the protocol on allowing parents to come in the room with a fussy child?
Yeah, so if it's a new family, elementary is the same way. We can, let they can come in for a few minutes. Usually I say about 5 minutes is okay. But if I'm around, I can't do this at Central, but if I'm around, you've seen me do this. I will try to redirect the parent to not come into the classroom, and I'll give them a why. I'll be like, look, let me take her. I'll take that one girl at Skylar that I've taken here that does not want to go in here. And I'll take her and I'll try to help separate and I keep them away from it. If at all costs, let's try to, if they're a first time guest can come in. But if they're a regular family who's been coming, we'll just remind them, hey, every person is background checked in here. And if we let you come in here, then we're breaking our liability, our rules. And we take our protection down of now saying everybody is in here that's over the age of 18 is background check. First time guests are that exception. Yes, Ms. Randall.
I tell them, if they don't calm down in 10 minutes, I'll text you and come get them, and that helps.
Absolutely, and that's the other thing is just letting them know and ease of we're not gonna let your child cry forever. We're gonna try to help them transition, but I'll tell the parents that are having those challenges, 95% of the time, mom or dad or grandma, when you guys leave, they transition in a few minutes and they forget. They don't forget you, but they're not upset. We find ways with bubbles or stuff like that to redirect their attention and they move on. But that's good, Miss Raymond. Any other thoughts, questions?
Question about pickup time. So what is the boundary? And because we only have one service, we know sometimes we just go with the flow and we can watch and see like when we're ending, and usually at Central Campus, the point person lets us know, all right, they're ending in prayer. But what is the boundary? Because sometimes we have parents, we have a reoccurring parent at Central who all the kids will be gone and it'll be like 15 minutes after all the other kids are gone, and then they pick up their kid. So what would be the boundary in that? Because, we want to respect our volunteers, make sure they're out in a timely manner, and not, I guess, take advantage of that.
Yeah, since we went to one service, that has been a natural tension for us, depending on the campus. And the bottom line is what we have communicated and asked is 11:30. There is without disrupting a flow of the service, to ask if you have littles to go get them at 11:30. Does that always happen? It doesn't, which we're not perfect in everything we do. So we're not asking them to be perfect at that. But if it's getting to a point to where it's repeated, we need to have a conversation, whether if it's here or Pastor Richard at Central with that parent. Okay, it's the same thing of like a parent who's always showing up at 11:45 to try to 10:45 to check their kid in, right? We've already closed check-in. I'm okay to let a first-time guest come through, but repeat offenders, I call them, they're not offenders, but repeat offenders who are continually pressing the boundaries. Sometimes we do have times where we need extra time in the altar time, but if that's the norm, we got to address that. So 11:30 is the target, okay? But if it's you've got all the kids gone and you're done with everything in your classroom, you're ready to go, and it's been like 5 minutes, let's either go find Pastor Richard, find Miss Sandra. If you're here, find me, and let's bring them to that family.
Okay.
Because I'm not expecting you guys to stay here. That's what we've done here is
Oh.
if I know all kids are clear, I'll go take Susie and I'll go to the sanctuary and find them.
That's
I never
neat.
thought about.
Yeah, versus you staying here. Again, if it's beyond if it's 5 to 10 minutes past 11:30,
Yeah.
that's when I'm moving them out of the classroom.
Okay. Okay.
Because I don't want y'all to have to stay longer than you've already been here. Because at that point, you've already been here for 2 hours at least, because you came up 30 minutes before service time. So.
Pastor Brent,
Yes, Miss Linda.
Pastor Kelly used to be really good about saying, you know, it's time if you need to get your kids. She used to do that all the time.
Yeah, she says it when she remembers. She says it. So
But, yeah, and I like the way she said it's respectful for us. So I haven't heard it lately though.
Yeah.
So that would be wonderful if you could implement that again.
I have even mentioned to them when they dropped the kid off.
Yes.
Because it was running late on a regular basis. I've asked them if your plunge test was fine, would you please tell me that your child?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it hurts so quick.
You have, yeah, and that's please. If you serve in the babies class, you can say it with any class. If you want to say to them, hey, just as a reminder, if it's 11:30 and service is going long, would you please come, if you're not being ministered to and you're not in the altar, would you come pick up your child? I specifically for the nursery, because I have been in here for an hour and 45 minutes and it can be challenged with the littles. I can handle it in probably any of the other classes, but this class and the nursery at Central specifically are probably the hardest ones once we get past an hour and 20 minutes or so. But I'm okay with y'all saying that because I've told Pastor Todd and Kelly that we would, from our end, as much as we can, communicate to parents when they do pick up or drop off, that at 11:30 we will just be looking for them. So these are great questions. This is good stuff.
And I did have one more general question for Central Campus volunteers. Is there any way, because we have lost a lot of people, and what are the ways that we can get in more volunteers for Central? I know years ago we used to advertise, when we needed it.
Right.
Is that possible to do that? Because we definitely need help at Central.
Yeah. When it comes to you personally recruiting somebody, us, meaning by your conversations, we've always got a higher return on recruitment than we've ever got with any videos or whatever it may be. Any kind of campaigns we've ever done and ask from, I could say it's probably 5% or less on return of investment into a video that we ran in the service. I want to do it. We're going to do it after Easter. But most of the personal invites by you, I asked Miss Ellie, I said, hey, would you that's a personal invite. Would you consider helping us? Again, I know I'm Pastor Brandon, but you can personally say to people, and I know some of our check-in volunteers have said it at Rad Moms. Hey, we need help in Rad Kids. Would y'all consider? We don't want to beg people to come serve because I want to keep the ministry part of this. But we definitely, through personal recruitment, that's what I would say. That's how y'all can own this, is have conversations with moms or people that you're connected with that I don't even know. And ask them to be a part of the team. They have to be here 6 months. Well, they have to be at Radiant for 6 months before they can jump in. But personal recruitment and that'd be the number one, but it's good.